that's what you gotta know about me. Is look, man, I'm very proud to be black. I'm very proud to be to represent blackness, African American, descendants of Africans, descendants of slaves, however you want to call it, Negro-ness, however you want to call it, man. I'm very black and very proud. So I would never shy away from talking about race, because unlike some people who like to keep race out of every single thing, especially their entertainment and their sports, I don't have that privilege. Okay, I don't have that, and I don't have that, and that's not my aim. Like I want to actually keep it always at the forefront, because I think that that is an issue that faces this country, and one that I have to deal with on a regular basis, and other people that I know, and stories that I'm aware of, and narratives that I'm a part of, whether directly or indirectly, that I have to sort of always be prepared to deal with that. So if I gotta always be prepared to deal with that, then I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You have to always be prepared to deal with that. You can't just have your cake and eat it too. You can't just watch sports where the people who predominantly dominate the sports, football, basketball, okay, baseball, even though there's not a lot of African Americans, black people, or descendants of slaves, or however you want to say it, that play baseball now in today's game. It was in the time past. You know what I'm saying? Jackie Robinson, like maybe the most iconic sports figure, one of the most iconic sports figures of all sports, and definitely in baseball, maybe second only to Babe Ruth. You know what I'm saying? But Jackie Robinson, like, he broke down that barrier. So, and race and sports will always be intertwined, I think. You know what I'm saying? And until maybe we get to and not even in a negative way. I think right now there's sort of a negative association with it, because a lot of the topics around race in sports are very polarizing, and you have people on one side or the other side of the spectrum, and they don't want to meet in the middle, or they don't see how it should even be a part of it. But you can't have a sport that's predominantly like I said, dominated by one particular race, especially like a sport like basketball and football, and then all of these people who play these sports that dominate this sport and move the needle of the sport. I mean, the best quarterback in football right now is half black. You know what I'm saying? Like Patrick Mahomes, the reigning MVP, he's half black. So half of his story and struggle, or whatever, like half of his narrative, is tied up into race relations in this country. So, and when you look at him, you're going to see a half black person. Half of his features, half of his whatever is going to be blackness, or whatever the case may be. So like, or even like in basketball, where it's even more astronomical as far as the scale of how African Americans or black people contribute to the growth and the wealth of that sport and its global appeal. You can't have that be one reality, and then you can't have that be the reality, and then you just want to separate how race plays into their personal everyday experience, whether it's now or whether it was when they're growing up, or whether it's someone they know, or what have you. Like, those things can't be separated. I know a lot of people want to separate those things, but you cannot separate those things, because you cannot separate. You can't say, oh, when I go out into the field, onto the court, I'm just a basketball player. No, you're not. You are who you are, and you happen to be a basketball player, but you still who you are once you come off that court. And we've seen it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, just because people root for black people, right, or people of color or minorities, if you don't happen to be in the minority, if you're not one of those minorities, especially African Americans, just because you root for them on Sunday or on game day doesn't mean you actually care about their issues or have any empathy towards them. And this was not supposed to become a talk. I was not planning on talking about this, but then I did remember that it was February, and I remember it was Black History Month, and I feel like, I don't really talk about that kind of stuff a lot on here, but I also don't want to shy away from it, when it just kind of comes up or starts to like kind of work its way into my consciousness. And I think it's important, man. I really think it is important. I think, honestly, sports is one of the things that can help to sort of bridge that gap or help to make it plain for some people. Because, I mean, it's like that scene from that Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing. We have that the Italian restaurant owner, right, and his son, and he's talking about how he loves Magic Johnson, and how he says, like, Magic Johnson isn't a nigga. You know what I mean? Like, he used the word nigger. He might have, you know what I'm saying? And or maybe I should say he used the N word, you know, if that makes people feel a little more comfortable. And he was talking to Spike Lee's character, Mookie. And Mookie was saying, like you don't even see how, like, the way you treat me and how you treat a celebrity black person, a athlete, is different, but we're the same, bro. We're both black. And he's like, nah, man, he's different from you. And I mean, that's like a very poignant, like, interesting point. And I feel like a lot of people sort of have those opinions, you know what I'm saying? Sort of have those they just separate the athlete from the race or from the struggle of everyone else like them, and they just idolize them, but then they don't give a damn about anyone else that looks like them, because those people don't entertain them. You know what I mean? Those people don't do anything for them. They're just, I guess, a hindrance to them. But you see it all the time, though. I mean, there's people who cheer on black people in sports and entertainment, but then they turn around and say something racist or hateful, or act a racist or hateful way to another person who looks just like them. But just because they don't entertain them, they don't care about them. Or even though quickly turn on, you know, athletes. As soon as an athlete isn't talking the way you expect them to talk or acting the way you want them to act, like as soon as they start speaking out for themselves and start speaking up on issues or things that you disagree with, then all that love and admiration and idolization is gone, and it turns into vitriol, and it turns into hate, and it turns into venomous energy that they put towards them. You know, LeBron seems to often be in the center of this, when the lady told him to shut up and dribble, and some other things like that. So that's my 2 cents on that, man. Black History Month is in full effect. It's the 3rd day of February. But like LeBron said, man, really, honestly, every day is Black History, man. Every day, because Black history is American history. You can't separate those two things. So, but
Puda, you the GOAT, boy.